This weekend, I took a trip to Liverpool with a couple of friends. We stayed in a hostel, and while we were there, we went to several pubs and went to a few museums. But the most amazing part was getting to see the birthplace of what is, in my opinion, the single most influential and timeless band of the 20th century, the Beatles. We went on a taxi tour that took us to see the childhood homes of all four Beatles. It's interesting that while the National Trust has officially bought the childhood homes of Paul and John, there's someone currently residing in George's, and Ringo's is doomed to soon be torn down. We stopped to see the humble church hall where John and Paul first met, and we listened to Strawberry Fields Forever while standing outside the red gates of Strawberry Fields. While driving down Penny Lane, we passed a barber shop, though we had no pouring rain. Very strange. While we were outside of the Cavern Club on Matthew Street, which played host to nearly 300 performances by the Beatles, there was a busker playing Here Comes the Sun. I found myself wondering, what combination of fate and circumstance can take four young boys from Liverpool and make them internationally and timelessly famous? Four boys who could have just as easily never been known by anyone but their friends and family. As said in the song, "All you need is love. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be." Following that logic, the Beatles were meant to change the world, and how different things would be if they hadn't. While growing up, my dad loved the Beatles, and he passed that along to my sister and I. I don't even remember being introduced to them. They were just always a part of my life. I recall being about 5 when I first seriously contemplated the lyrics to Can't Buy Me Love. It was the first time I had ever considered the difference between things that were material and things that were conceptual. What I realized while walking through the Beatles Story Museum was that not only are the Beatles universal, but music itself is universal. When you watch a foreign film without subtitles, you can almost always tell the mood of the movie based on the music played in the background. Music makes us feel certain ways, which I guess is why so many people have trouble narrowing down a favorite song or artist, or even genre sometimes. We listen to whatever speaks to our souls, but our souls don't always say the same things every time. Music can be both revolutionary and start revolutions. It can help us to make sense of things, or it can make no sense at all. In a group career that lasted more than 10 years and spawned more than 200 songs, the Beatles covered nearly any topic imaginable in song. From Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever, songs that were simply about nostalgic places in their hometown, to Blackbird, Helter Skelter, I Am the Walrus, or even Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, the Beatles have songs that speak to anyone and everything, and that is what I think makes them timeless. I guess I could wonder forever about what seals one's fate or future, but as George Harrison once said, "It's being here now that's important. There's no past and there's no future. Time is a very misleading thing. All there ever is the now. We can gain experience from the past, but we can't relive it. And we can hope for the future, but we don't know if there is one." Until next week, ta my lovelies.